Impact Japanese population in Indonesia. At subtitle by Group 4. Political field. Since the beginning of its occupation of Indonesia, Japan prohibited all political activities such as political organization, social organization, and religious organization, and replaced this organization with organization from by Japan. The only organization that was not disbanded was the Indonesian Islamic Council, which had been established since the Dutch India's era. MIAI is growing rapidly because it has received sympathy from the public. Because its direct Japanese interest, MIAI was disbanded in 1943 and replaced with Indonesian Muslim Shura Council or Masyumi, led by Kiai Haji Hashim Asy'ari. Japanese also resisted the movement of non-cooperative movement figures by closely monitoring them through the secret police Kempeitai. The Kempeitai also went out into society to punish anyone who was not pro-Japan by punishing them without trial. Human rights during the Japanese occupation almost did not apply. The following are things that Japan did to attract the sympathy of the Indonesian population. 1. Encourage Indonesian as the language of instruction and prohibit the use of Dutch. 2. Forming cooperation with nationalist figures through the movement. 3. Formed the People Power Center or Putra organization and placed for triumvirates, namely Sukarno, Hatta, Ki Hajar Dewantara, and Kiai Haji Mas Mansur as the leader. This organization aims to unite the potential of society for the benefit of Japan. However, the Putra organization was actually used by nationalist figures to instill nationalism. After seeing that Putra was more useful for Indonesia interests, Putra was disbanded by the Japanese government. 4. Formed a central advisory body or called Chousangi in August 1944. Different from other organizations, Jawa Hokukai was led by Kwasi Khan or head of government. Economic sector. In the economic field, Japan policies were generally the same as other imperialist countries, through the motto prosperous country, strong military. Japan aims to make Indonesia a military base and industrial area. From this reason, Japan began to exploit all available resources for the sake of war. This can be seen from the following this. 1. Confiscate important economic assets. Japan confiscated all plantation products, tea, coffee, rubber, and sugarcane factories, banks, and important companies. This had an impact on the large amount of agricultural land being abandoned due to police focus on the war economy and industry. As a result, there is a food crisis, poverty, and hunger. 2. Carry out strict supervision in the economic sector. Japan closely monitors economic activities. Severe sanctions are imposed 1. The use and circulation of remaining inventory. State supervision is intended to prevent increases in price of goods. 3. Self-sufficiency policy. In order not to burden central finances, Japan implemented self-sufficiency, or a policy of meeting one's own needs in one region. The impact of this policy is the severing of economic relations between regions. 4. Mandatory deposits, Romusa, falling food price and famine. Due to the pressure of the heat war situation in 1944, Japan, through the Java Hokai, instructed the people to hand over 30% of their food to the government, 30% to the village poor, and 40% to their property rights. As a result, all sector textile industry conditions are made worse by mandatory forced labor, or Romusa, for workers of productive age. As a result of the Romusa, a lot of agricultural land was abandoned, which caused chain effect such a lack of food, the emergence of disease outbreaks, and the economy was completely paralyzed. To overcome this, Japan established kumiai, namely comparative aimed at the common good, and introduced a line farming system, namely an efficient agricultural system. However, in fact, the people economy is still in decline. Social sector. 1. The emergence of the Romusa system. Apart from the economy's decline due to Japan's wartime economic policies, the mobilization of labor through Romusa also had a negative impact on the social development of Indonesian society. Romusa was mobilized to develop war advice not only in Indonesia but in Burma, Thailand, Vietnam, and Malaysia. Apart from Romusa, Jukun Ianfu was also implemented, namely recruiting women to serve as entertainers for the Japanese army. 2. Education. During the Japanese occupation, education conditions declines drastically compared to the Dark Age India's era. University activities also stopped for a while. It was only in 1943 that college education began to ripen. The students were given the slogan Hako Ichiu, which means 8 corners of the world under one roof. One roof in question was under this empire. Hakoku Ichiu teaching were intended as a doctrine from the Japanese side. 3. Use of language and social stratification. Even though many Japanese policies are negative, there are several positive policies that can be felt by the Indonesian people, one of which is the requirement for Indonesian as the language of introduction. During the Japanese colonial period, Indonesian experienced rapid development. Apart from that, a new stratification system was formed from the Dutch Age. In this era, which natives became a group above Europeans and foreign Easterners. Cultural sector. As a versatile country, Japan applies high case keep line, Japan has great place for in imperial. This is what Japan want to pass on to the Indonesian people. Japan requires Indonesian people to positively toward the rising sun, or what is called SEJARAH. This then gave rise to process in 1944 by Islamic boarding school circles in Tasikmalaya. Japanese influence can be seen in song, films, drama, as from Japanese propaganda. The Japanese government also established a cultural center called Keimin Bunkei Shindoso as a forum for the development of Indonesian arts. However, this organization was used by Japan to monitor and direct artists so that their words did not divide and go against Japan. On the other hand, literary work appeared that were allowed to develop because they did not conflict with Japan, such as Cinta Tanah Air by Nur Sultan Iskandar, Palawira by Karim Halim, and Angin Fuji by Usmar Ismail.